Hey guys, this is Ed from vinylalbumcovers.com. Welcome back to Slept On. You know what we do here. We talk about songs by artists that you might have missed. Um, this is not an episode that I had planned on doing, and it's not one I really wanted to do. Um, and I certainly didn't think I'd be doing it, but here we are. Um, Obviously, given the fedora, this is an episode about Bobby Caldwell. Um, Bobby first popped up on the scene in 1978 with this record, the self-titled album called Bobby Caldwell. It's since been renamed What You Won't Do for Love for obvious reasons. When he released it on his own record label, he retitled it after his biggest hit. But so back in 1978, he signed with TK Records, which was owned by Harry Stone. And TK had a bunch of other labels that went with it. I can't possibly name them all, but one of them was Clouds. George McRae was signed to the label. The guy that did Rock Your Baby, Peter Brown, was signed to the label. He did Dance With Me. I couldn't think of it. And a couple of other things, For Your Love, etc., etc. And there were a bunch of other artists. KC and the Sunshine Band, of course, were signed to TK proper. But so this was kind of this label was hitting, back in the mid 70s and even into the early 80s for a little while until the whole thing went under. And Harry Stone kind of had all these other labels there for tax reasons we won't get into. But anyway, one of the guys who benefited from this was Bobby Caldwell. Bobby Caldwell was signed to TK, and his album showed up on the Clouds label. So the story goes that he submitted his album to the powers that be, Harry Stone specifically, over at Henry Stone. Please forgive me, I'm an idiot. It's not Harry, it's Henry. What's the matter with me? But yeah, so Henry Stone. But he submitted his album to Henry Stone over there, and Henry couldn't hear a hit. And he wanted one more song, and so he took off with Alphonse Kettner and created the song that everybody knows, that absolutely everybody has been evoking today. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 15th of March. But the whole reason for Slept On is to bring attention to songs that you don't know, or songs that you might not know. I promise you Bobby Caldwell was much more than What You Won't Do for Love. That seems to be the song that everybody knows, and it is a great song, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more to him. On top of being an absolutely incredible singer whose Stevie Wonder influence is impossible to ignore, but he also had his own thing, to be sure, so he wasn't just some Stevie hack or anything like that. He had a lot to offer. But besides being an incredible singer, he was also a really good guitar player. I remember he had this white Fender Stratocaster that he used to play, and I mean, he just killed it. Just a great player. Played a mean piano too. His footage of him playing just a piano vocal of him on My Flame, you can find it on YouTube. Actually, Woody from Drew Hill turned me on to it. It's a great clip. But there's a lot more going on there. There's a song called Heart of Mine that showed up and I don't know why I can't think of its name now. Shame on me. I gotta look and see this. I have to look and see what this record was. I'll know it as soon as I see it. Oh yeah, it's called Heart of Mine. And there's a version of All or Nothing at All, which Al Jarreau ended up recording just prior to that, actually. But I think we're hearing demos. The album sounds like a bunch of demos, but it's good. The songs are definitely there. He moved into doing big band for a bit. One of his idols was Frank Sinatra, so he ended up doing a record, Come Rain or Come Shine. Kind of went off into that for a bit. And then he ended up hooking up with Jack Splash, and did a record in 2015 called Cool Uncle, which is kind of fun too. So check that out. But on top of all of that, he also wrote great songs for other people. Like I said, All or Nothing at All went to Al Jarreau, which was done on the Heart's Horizon record. Next Time I Fall, which he did a version of on the Heart of Mine record, appeared back in 1986 on an album by Peter Cetera in duet form with Amy Grant. And they took that song all the way to #1 on the pop charts. Hugely successful song. Although lyrically it doesn't really make much sense as a duet, but it does work. It makes for a nice sounding record, and the pop audiences ate it up. He did Janet for the Commodores. There's a lot of stuff out there. Just an incredible writer with a string of successes as a writer. It's kind of how he continued to survive, even though his recording career, at least on America's shores, kind of died down. He remained popular in Japan the entire time. It's interesting too, because if you look at it, like the Bobby Caldwell album peaked at #7 on the R&B charts. I'm sticking only to R&B because who cares otherwise, honestly. The Cat in the Hat, which was the next record, peaked at #46. Carry On peaked at #41. And that was 1982 by that point. And Soul Survivor, which came out years after the fact in 1995, peaked at #23. But that's basically it over here. He continued to make noise in Japan. And even the songs themselves, he kind of petered out just in general. And I don't know why, because there's a lot of great stuff. Certainly a lot of great stuff on that self-titled album. And one of those tunes is one we're going to talk about right now, as I hurriedly put my earbuds in. This is not posing. I'm literally just forgetting to shove them in my ears. I just wanted to talk about an amazing musician and forgot to put them in my ears. But they're in. And but just an absolutely amazing artist with a lot more songs going for him other than What You Won't Do for Love. And so we're going to listen to one of them now. This is a song that appears about halfway through the debut record. If you have the LP, it's the first song on the second side, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Not to be silly and name drop, but I actually just turned Woody from Drew Hill onto that song. He and I have been chatting on Instagram quite a bit, which is really, really fun. I have a new friend, you see. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this. This is called Come to Me. This is called Come to Me by Bobby Caldwell, released back in 1978, essentially on TK Records. In 3, 2, 1...
Come to me, let me hold you in my arms, darling, tonight. Come to me, come to me, there's no need to stay alone this way, baby. Come to me. Let me love you, honey. Keep you warm, holding you tight. Come to me. Come to me. Come to me, come to me. I would never mistreat you. I would always, always be around. In this world you need someone. I would never let you down, no, no. to me. Let me love you, honey, in my arms, darling, tonight. Oh yeah, come to me, come to me. All your cares will be history when you come to me.
My gosh, just a beautiful tune, absolutely beautiful. I don't even know what to say. There's, I mean, the string arrangement is absolutely gorgeous on it, of course. The strings and the horns were arranged by Mike Lewis, who did a lot of that kind of thing for TK back in the day, and he was just masterful. And I mean, his stuff is a sonic signature of Bobby's. It's just, you know when it's a Bobby Caldwell tune, even if you haven't heard Bobby yet, just based on those arrangements on this record. Just amazing stuff. Bobby played keyboards and synthesizers and guitar and bass. He basically was the rhythm section without the drums on a lot of this record. But you had guys like George Chocolate Perry, who's absolutely amazing. He's not currently working. George is still alive. He's still with us, but he deals with a horrible case of agoraphobia, so he's no longer playing, which is such a shame. He's an incredible player and wrote Can't Say Goodbye too, with Bobby on the record, which is a great tune. Ed Green, Andy Newmark are on drums, and yeah, there's a lot of people who are on this record. Interesting thing to note too is the production of the record. Typically speaking, there were not and are not that many female producers these days. But with this record was almost entirely produced by women. So Marcia Radcliffe produced the first couple of tracks. So she produced Special to Me, which is a really nice disco thing, and My Flame. And then Anne Holloway produced almost everything else except for Can't Say Goodbye. George Chocolate Perry did that. But Anne did everything that basically everything else that Marcia didn't do. So I don't have a tremendous amount of information on either one of them, but the record is just produced incredibly well. It has no apologies to make there either, and of course, the most important thing is that Bobby sounds just incredible, just an incredible voice. And it's interesting because even as he aged, he never really lost it. It did get deeper because that's how the human voice works, but he never lost it. There's proof of it all over the internet. All you gotta do is go look a little bit, and all the proof is there. So, yeah, just absolutely amazing song on an amazing album by an amazing singer, and what an absolutely horrible loss. Just horrible. It happened. I heard about it just this morning. And, it's pretty difficult to believe, really. And I mean, he wasn't that old. He was only 71 years old. But he'd been sick for quite a while. He was floxed, so he was dealing with basically the side effects of a medication that he couldn't handle, and he didn't make it, which is very, very sad. But yeah, if you've got any Bobby, and you do, I mean, it's all very streamable, do yourself a favor and have a night of Bobby Caldwell. You could certainly do worse, because that's absolutely what I'm going to do. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Slept On. I know I'm not my usual jovial self, but yeah, the circumstances kind of don't allow for that, so please forgive me. But yeah, uh, this episode is obviously dedicated to the memory and to the music of Bobby Caldwell. So thank you very, very much for watching. Much appreciated. And I have more on the way. I have another episode that's in the can. This had to jump in front of it. There was no other way. And yeah, until we see each other next time, go listen to Bobby Caldwell.
I walk along